Hi everyone.
Hello.
Such a beautiful, event before us. Hello.
Yeah, Neha, I'm
Yeah.
still floating in between what you said
Yeah.
and hardly remember why I'm here. Still thinking about the questions you asked. They're very, very good, and I related to almost all the answers there.
Perfect. So I'm Sujata, Sue of Suta. She's Tanya, Ta of Suta. A lot of time we asked best friends or sisters. We're sisters. I'm the elder one. She's the younger one. And yeah, so we will start, but also please interrupt us if you have questions because in the end it just gets too much questions and answers. So you can just ask us if you want to ask us and stop us.
Yeah, we'll keep it short so that we can have an interactive session. I can also see the timer ticking, so we'll start. We'll tell you briefly about our journey, where have we reached today. The introduction was good enough, but just telling you how we started. We are both engineers and MBAs, and we were in the corporate world for the longest time. I was there for 4 years. Sujata was there in the steel industry for 7 years, and then every day over tea we used to talk very dramatic, but we used to talk that what is the purpose of this life, why are we here, or what are we doing, are we happy to wake up every Saturday and do what we are doing? And the answer was no, and we really wanted to do something where we impacted lives, where we saw purpose in the product that we are making or selling, or have more trust and belief in what we are doing. So from there, that stemmed Suta.
So the two reasons we started Suta, one was bringing back saris in people's life and making it a staple. Second was impacting lives, and by that, hence I think the mention that we work with weavers and craftsmen. We started with 2 weavers and craftsmen. Now we have 17,000 plus weavers and craftsmen, and we started with. Thank you.
And that's the biggest achievement till date. And when people ask what's your achievement, I said so many people, and that's where we get our motivation and push from every day.
We started with one employee. We now 292 of us. We had no stores. We started as a Facebook page. We have a website now, suta.in, which contributes to 50% of our revenue, website and app. And we work with marketplaces, and we have 15 stores, 15 physical stores. So it's a journey, it's an omni-channel journey for us where we moved from online to offline. It's a big journey. But I'll tell you where the problem started from is when we actually started off opening our business with no background and no understanding of it. And I think we all are, many of us spoke about accidental entrepreneurs, we completely are. We just didn't know that if we wanted to make a product like a sari, where to procure it from. So hence the supply chain fixing, right? The first point was how did we fix the logistics, how did we fix the supply chain. The first 2 years, both of us didn't spend any money on marketing. We were actually fixing the supply chain because we realized that if there's a beautiful product out there, how to make sure that if there's a demand ever, which we didn't know is going to happen, but if there is, how are we making sure that such an unorganized community, how do we get the products right from the doorstep while they understand it from like kilometers apart and they deliver it on time to us. And that took us almost 2 years to sort, and I'll tell you that is the biggest strength of Suta, that when we tell our weavers on WhatsApp that we need this the design, and honestly initially because we don't have design background, we used to sketch on a paper with like 2.5 inches of border and with like lotus in between with no clue what they're going to do.
And the best thing is that the weavers understood exactly the language, and that's how we started our journey. And also everything tied together from the weavers to us to the customers was the story. Nobody was ready to make, oh, by the way, I'm reading the first product that Suta sold and made, and this is one thing that's the best seller, and it's so easy to replicate it, right? I mean, anyone can make a solid white sari. It's a no-brainer, but it still is the best product. To convince the weaver to make an unstarched product, and to convince the customer that unstarched saris are the most comfortable, that's the story that we built around, and that was what we started solving in the initial phase of our lives.
I'll tell you one thing that what taught us that anything is possible to work with if you have an idea, and there was nobody doing that when we started sari. There was nobody doing an unstarched piece of clothing like we were doing. How did we convince the weavers? Because the weavers first thing they said is मैं नहीं बनाऊंगा, ये कौन बनाएगा, कोई पहनेगा ही नहीं, आप लोग मुझे बोल रहे हो बनाने, and then tomorrow you'll just leave us, and then what do we do with it? So how to convince them is first being so true that telling them this is the payment cycle going to be, and absolutely simple basic questions they have. If I work with you, will I get work for the next couple of years? That's a basic question they can't ask you, but then you have to understand what they wanted to know. So we just promised them that, we'll give you so much work. We showed them what is the flow of work going to be like, and absolutely no pen and paper. There was no contract signed with them, but that's how we onboarded our first rework family, who came on board.
And I think our transparency, the way we worked our model out, there was no there's no model that we followed. It all came from instinct, it all came from logic, and we kept building that. And the biggest and the best thing that we did was opening accounts for all the women that were working in the village. So they all work as families, and when you are on the ground solving something, you're sitting with them and understanding, the whole family works towards making a product. For example, if the weaver is weaving it, the wife would have maybe done the thread, set it up. The people who don't know how to make, they were making the tassels for us. So they were all getting skilled. But the money used to go to only just one account. We saw there's a problem there, there's a bit of a problem, and we just solved it by opening accounts for different people and segregating the work. And that's what made us win.
Because it was always going to the man's account, and that's what we solved, like the smallest problem. But then what happened is the buy-in of the entire village came in. The wife started saying, oh, you have to work for Suta only, At home you come, oh, you have to work for Suta, this brand is opening account for us also, and I can also contribute to like whatever amount. She's doing something and she'll get paid for that. So that's how we got the buy-in. And when you talk about supply chain, you might look at it as a very, okay, it's a term that you've learned in B school and just sorting it, but it's actually solving a very small problem. And that's what we did. We saw there's a problem and we solved that, and that helped us build, like so many weavers got onboarded with us because of that.
And when we are asked about the question on how to scale a brand like that, how to scale when the lead time of a product is so high, what we did was we understood that certain products have lead time for around 6 months, certain products have a day. So we have a mix of both. We constantly make sure that there's work for all the weavers. That's our priority, that all of them have constant work. So we have a mix of products, and hence we can manage the lead time for both the kinds. And we always say that there's a capsule collection, or there's like 60 pieces of each, it's gonna get sold out, and again there's a scarcity that's created, and people also love the product more because it's more unique and no other items will be made in that range. So that's what helped us scale a lot, about understanding exactly how looms work, how setup has to be done, and how much thread you have to actually stock to make sure that once it's a bestseller, then you can actually make more products faster.
Bestseller can never be sold out. One rule that we have learned in online, bestseller cannot go out of stock. Yeah, blunders which we have done many years back. Okay, so I'll tell you one question we get is, how did you scale? How did you think of, obviously it's 75 crores, and I know there are many businesses which are like multi crores. Very small way of what we have understood scaling is that we never looked at scaling the way we should have. So now I'm looking at scale in a very different light. But how we scaled up initially was that we just kept recognizing the small problem and we kept solving for it. And that's how we kept scaling. But it was never a scale like a bigger scale. So what we are doing differently from how we were doing it many years back is that now we look at numbers in a way that even if everything stays constant and sales suddenly increase, the spike happens, how is the supply chain, how is the tech, how is everything supporting that scale? So that happens only when you're very strong on the numbers. So what we have started doing is making very small capsule reports from every team member. So everybody has those numbers handy, and when the top line grows, how is everything underneath going to support the top line? So that's what we are doing now. But initially we kept solving for problem. I think for when we are founders, when we're looking at everything in total and we get scared at looking at every number, I think what we can keep doing is looking at every department and solving from the smallest of problem, and that's how the scale automatically comes. Yes, please.
Of reports. Yeah. So when we talk about MIS, when we sit with the HODs, for example, online, marketplace, retail, when we sit with them, we give them yearly numbers they have. We break it down to monthly. We have also broken it down to weekly, to understand if this week you haven't achieved what you're supposed to achieve, then it's going to burden the next week. How are you going to solve for it?
And also the inventory has to reduce. Yeah, the inventory numbers, the team knows, the inventory team knows that the production has to stop some level. What happens is, when the things are not tied up together, the inventory team is working maybe for a 200 crore business. They are producing constantly, right? And the other teams are not working, and you don't sit together and make work on it. the sales are not happening at the same level, let's say something else is happening and the inventory team is still producing, everything is going to fall apart. And that's when the problem starts occurring. And I'm giving a very large example, but
I'll give you a small one as well. For example, the inventory team's report flowing to the marketing team to flowing to the creative team. कि ये product ज़्यादा पड़ा है, I've ordered it because I thought it'll sell. The information going to the marketing team. For example, if it's not selling, probably the photo shoot is bad, the description is wrong, something's not working there, to check the hygiene of those products. And then pushing the creative team to again get creatives done to push the product forward, or or do retention marketing on that. The information flow that has to happen can happen only when you're taking weekly reports. The STR, the sell-through rate, when you start looking at that for the inventory that's lying, and for products that's moving fast, are you restocking? For the products that's the STR is low, then are you doing something about it? So basically, capsule bites, small bites of information that the team can digest and take actions upon. Is what we are talking about. Oh, there's only 4 minutes left.
Yeah. I will go to the part which is called, it's about, and maybe a little more interesting part would be the breaking the clutter. How did we do that?
I'll make notes. I usually don't.
But I'll start with the first one, which is like a brand behaving like a human. I think that's one. We have made content creators. Now somebody told us, okay, you guys are creators now, and then behave like creators. And actually the way they've given me the chart, it looks like I have become a brand myself, right? So humans are becoming more brand and brands are becoming more human. Our brand's actually like a very, very chaotic human being. Like someday we're talking about some store launch, someday we're doing something else, and it actually has created a lot of chaos. But at the same time, what I feel is our brand has stayed authentic to being chaotic. And hence people are still okay with it. And I also feel that because we have constantly been telling the same story in a way that the final vision of it is that we want to impact more and more lives. So we want more weavers to be onboarded, and hence everything of our story revolves around that. So I think customers forgive us for being chaotic,
yeah,
being
and also
confusing.
Just talking to the audience in the same tone that they understand, the way they think and feel. Just communicating in the same way makes it really human, and that's what we stick to. And not use any jargons or terms that make people run away. The other one was the purpose of a product, that we constantly say that we don't just sell saris. Each sari tells a story. We make sure that people understand when they're buying something, what is the impact it creates and what is the value of the product. When you also know your product well, you use it better and it lasts longer.
But honestly, it's hard sometimes, how much of a story you tell, how much of a things you do. Sometimes the product sell might not sell. That's a different story.
But we keep telling.
But we keep telling our stories through our products. Make sure the product stands out. It's a hero. We tell the purpose of creating it. How many lives have touched the product so that buying it.
I'll give you an example. A lot of people have bought our product because they love the story and it had nothing to do with actually what it is. We had a collection named Bachpan. It was during the time when it's a slow month for us, which is Jan, and the collection was that we made the weavers' kids do a drawing competition where they had to write or draw what freedom meant to them and what
freedom and happiness meant to them.
Happiness, yeah.
So kids drew. There was one beautiful place where there's a mother sitting and the kid is lying on the lap. Such a beautiful thing, right? That's what freedom means to that kid. And we did the whole range of this Republic Day launch based on whatever kids thought, and then that was the interpretation. The entire sari had hand paint done of whatever the kids thought on the sari. So that was a launch.
And the collection was sold out. It was the story that sold, and nothing does so amazingly well during January for us. And it was magical. It was the story that sold, and that's why we say that purpose of a product is constantly what we look for. And also, like these days, people need to understand what the brand is doing, and they're researching a lot. The other one is build community, not just a customer list. We all know that's to be true, and
that's become a buzzword now. But honestly, when we started, what we did is, because me and Tanya were not known as fashionistas in college, right? We were always told, "Kya pehen ke aa jate pata nahi," anything they're wearing, literally, and come popped into the college. So we've been told that. So what we felt is that I was feeling beautiful that day, but I was told I was not, and I felt really bad. And when we started Suta, what we did is we called Suta customers queens, because we wanted to tell them whatever you're wearing, if you feel like a queen, you are a queen, So that's what we kept doing, that even if somebody's sending us a photo, we kept saying, hey, Suta queen's wearing this, this is the name we tagged. She's saying yes because she was a queen there. So that's what we kept doing, and that's how the community got built. And now when we walk on the road and people see us maybe and they recognize us, they come and say, hey, I'm part of your community. They didn't say that, oh, I have your product or I'm a customer. They always use the word that, hey, I'm a Suta Queen, I'm part of your community. And that's the beauty of it. When you create a community, you don't have to tell or bombard that word and message, but they feel part of it and they feel so involved that they will also become your brand ambassador. They'll become your salesperson for your product.
Yeah, and also like when we started doing that, it was 9 years back, and we didn't know the word called UGC, and we kept doing that then. And when people asked, was it a strategy, etc., but we said that we did it out of a lot of love and because what we felt came from our past. But that became a strategy, and it works wonders, because a person telling you to buy a brand or a product works much better than when influencers tell you. That also works, but then this works much better.
Stems from the childhood, what you said. So many things stems from childhood, and so many things, your problems, whatever you faced, if you start channelizing your energy and try to solve a problem, it does wonders. People will relate to it because so many of us would have done the same thing or felt the same thing.
Yeah, that's why the tip was that give your audience a seat at the table. Let them shape your story. We listen to them till date, and we're known to have great customer support. And honestly, we do that also to solve their problems and also to make sure our product is right, the website is fixed, etc. Consistency with soul. Yeah, I think that's consistency we spoke about. But then not just being consistent, but also making sure that it relates to the audience and not doing random things. So embrace imperfections is the last one that we wanted to talk about.
How we do but embracing imperfection is because our products, what we make, might have a lot of defect, because it's hand woven. Let's say some products genuinely tore while by the logistics people while getting it. There's so much.
Yeah, the sari Sujata is wearing, the colors are never in order.
Yeah, it's never in order because it's hard to get it on order, because these are like old thread which is woven back into a sari. So the products don't sell, they just woven back into it. So colors will never be same. But if we tell the customer that this is going to be like this, we have a section called garage. So if there's a defect, we tell them, hey, there's a defect, and we talk about it. And that's how the angle of sustainability also comes. For us to shoot and upload takes a lot more money than actually selling and the profit we make out of it. But when you stick to something and you talk about it again and again, the customers or the community understands, and that just becomes a USP of your business.
I think apart from that also, the shoots that we do where we have real humans, we started shooting ourselves because we thought that photo shoots are very expensive in Mumbai back in 2016, and we could not afford it. So we started shooting ourselves. But we realized that people love the way we drape, not the way perfectly draped on models, because you sometimes, like how one of you said that, it looks scary on the page. Like I can't ace it, I can't wear such heels all the time, or the pleats to be so perfect. So when we draped it with creases, with pimples on the face, etc., we didn't hide too much, we didn't edit much. So people related to it better. That worked for us. I think imperfections and imperfect talks, because none of us are perfect, that related to the audience. We should shut now because time is over.
Do we have time for questions, or we just have to rush down, run away?
We can join you in networking outside.
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being a great audience.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.